when something shows up that I am so thrilled about, I will jump on it. And this is one of those items because it was the first product I received with the Vista DJI unit built into it, and now I have two others, but it's the first one and it's the smallest one as far as I know on the market that has prop guards. And now let's first talk about the DJI system in general. So when I was first testing it months before it came out, it was not that great. I mean, the software was kind of half broken, things didn't work properly, and there's all those physical problems with the goggles as well. They don't fit anybody's head. You can't wear them in a moving car because they kind of like rattle off your face, or at least they don't fit my face at all. The nose space is a little bit limited for me. I have a huge nose, and you can't see the whole screen, and the OSD components are all the way in the edges of the screen, so you really can't see them. I can't see them at all. I have to shrink my picture all the way down to be able to actually see the entire picture, so it's just hasn't been the greatest experience. Now you have analog built into them. I'll get to that review in the next video, but talking about this thing, so the DJI system, and what I'm showing you right now is the capabilities of the DJI system with the Vista Air unit, and this is on 700 milliwatt with the standard antennas. I haven't had a chance to do the 1200 milliwatt mod at all. I have been testing a couple other things on the DJI system, but yeah, I'm showing you what analog couldn't do in its wildest dreams. I mean, I've flown 1 watt analog around this park, and I cannot make it into these nooks and crannies of places that I'm making it with this system, and I am not even getting low signal. I'm not even beginning to get low signal on the system, and I'm just so floored with how incredibly good the DJI system has gotten. At the beginning, admittedly, it wasn't the best, but with their software updates, it has gotten so darn good, and with the Vista unit that's now available, it's now easy to use because it actually fits into the majority of builds that are from the last couple of years. So that's great. And this quad actually has the control built into it as well. So this Vista unit actually does control as well as video, which is nice, and it only uses 1 antenna. So they actually wired in the control as well. So I'm using the DJI controller also, which, hey, I'm happy to use to have less stuff to work on in the quad, just to simplify things a little bit further. I'm not particularly a fan of the DJI controller, but I can use it well enough, so I will use it. And like I said, the reason I'm most thrilled about this thing is because it's as close to a whoop as we're going to get. I'm not particularly partial to whoops at all, but hey, getting that kind of HD video into a product this small and being able to fly around the way this thing does, it's a first. It's a first for our industry to be able to have that kind of quality in this sort of package. And so GepRC has been killing it lately. Not everything they make is excellent, but they happen to be a company that I've used a number of their products now, and they've all worked properly. They've all been pretty reliable and have worked, which is surprisingly a very positive thing, and they're well set up for the most part. Some things aren't here or there, but a lot of their things just perform well, and so there's somebody there that definitely knows what they're doing. And this is something that is probably the smallest platform that you might want to run, the smallest platform with prop guards that you might want to run the Vista unit on, because if you go any smaller than these props, I believe they're 2-inch props, it's going to get really wonky. Already this thing's all up weight with a 4S 520 milliamp battery, which is the battery I would recommend, is 180 grams, and that's not like a tiny amount of weight, especially for 2-inch props. And even though they're quad blades and they're these AVAN props, they still make the quad feel a little bit like it has like the throttle's an on-off switch, so it makes it a little wonky to fly still. Altitude control is still a little bit weird, but their prop guards that they have designed actually function fantastic and don't feel like they're obstructing much at all. And the best thing about this quad is that it's not loud. It's actually pretty darn quiet. It's definitely not as quiet as a toothpick or anything of that sort, but it's a lot quieter than I expected it to be, because if you have any experience with prop guarded things, they tend to make a lot more noise than you would expect for whatever reason. Now, the frame and setup of this quad is not something that this is not the first time they made it, but it works great. I mean, it's got really nice, strong bumpers for the camera, which I am grateful for because that is not a cheap camera to replace. And the frame itself is 3mm, and it looks like the arms are actually pretty straight, so it doesn't look like they've compromised a whole lot of the carbon, and the frame does feel pretty sturdy, and the all-up weight of this thing with the prop guards that are kind of squishy and bouncy They might crack here and there, but they're a lot more durable than they look or than I ever expected. They are made of some sort of polycarbonate material, and I like this thing a lot. I think this is great. I think the motors are set up well. I think the 4S battery is I don't think it needs 4S. I think 3S would be fine, but I think 4S is appropriate for this thing, and a 520 milliamp or 450 milliamp 4S is totally fine. You're going to get 2 to 3 minutes. It's not the most efficient thing because it is overweight. It does have small props. A-band props also just tend to be a little bit less efficient in general, most of them at least, and so you might get better performance by just swapping the prop out. But yeah, the Vista unit is working fantastic in this product. The board, the control board that they're using in here is their 20 amp toothpick style 4S board, so that's working great, and it doesn't have any dipping or any issues, and the flight system works great. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's actually good. That's rare for me to say. It's actually good, and there is not even that much that I would personally change other than just using larger props, just because I prefer having good throttle control. But you would have a larger quad then. So kudos to GepRC. They're doing something right. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and floss your teeth. Take care. Bye-bye.